hush fell over the ancient walls of the castle as Carlo stood at the crumbling edge, peering out at the sprawling valley below. This was no ordinary view. His heart raced as he grasped the weight of history shaping him in that moment. Could a single boy truly bridge the past and present through the stories he captured? But to understand how he arrived at this pinnacle of discovery, we must trace back to the beginning of his extraordinary journey. You won't believe what happened next. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and tell us where you're watching from. In the picturesque town of Siena, Italy, 11-year-old Carlo Acutis sat cross-legged on the floor of his room, his fingers dancing over the keyboard of his laptop. The soft sound of rain pattering against the window created a cozy atmosphere, providing the perfect backdrop for a day of exploration. Carlo's curiosity was insatiable, and today he was on a mission to learn about the miraculous. He perused various articles about miracles, reading accounts that spanned generations and cultures, but one story stood out: the Eucharistic miracle of Alatri. As he clicked on the link, a wave of intrigue washed over him. The story unfolded about a mass during which a humble host transformed into real flesh, capturing the attention of the congregation with its breathtaking authenticity and divine aroma. Carlo felt his heart race. How could something so extraordinary happen? He could almost picture the stunned expressions of the faithful as they witnessed the miraculous event, their hearts swelling with awe and reverence. For a moment, Carlo was transported from the confines of his room to the very altar where the miracle occurred, feeling the electric atmosphere wrap around him. Every detail enveloped him. He imagined the flicker of candlelight illuminating velvety shadows, the hushed whispers that echoed through the sacred space, and the palpable sense of wonder that gripped the hearts of all who experienced it. This story ignited a spark within him, a deep yearning to understand the intersection of faith and the extraordinary. What did this miracle mean for the people who believed? Carlo wanted to dive deeper, to become an explorer of the divine and capture the essence of such wonders through his own lens. Motivated by the revelation that danced in his mind, Carlo sprang to his feet. He dashed down the hallway, excitement propelling his thoughts and words. Bursting into the kitchen, he found his parents amidst the aroma of their bustling meal preparation. His mother, with flour dusting her hands, looked up with curiosity, while his father stirred a bubbling pot on the stove. "Mom! Dad! You'll never believe what I just read!" Carlo exclaimed, his voice bubbling with enthusiasm. His parents turned their attention toward him, their expressions shifting from mild interest to eager anticipation. "What is it, Carlo?" his father asked, pausing in his culinary tasks. "It's incredible," Carlo began, his eyes wide with excitement. "I found out about the Eucharistic miracle of Alatri. I want to see it for myself. Can we visit?" His mother exchanged glances with his father, unsure of how to respond. The idea of a pilgrimage was unfamiliar to them. They had always been moderately religious, attending Mass now and then, but had never embarked on a spiritual journey like this. "A pilgrimage?" his mother questioned gently. "That's a big commitment." "Yes," Carlo pleaded, his voice an earnest mix of passion and determination. "It's an opportunity. We could explore our faith together. I want to experience the energy of the place." His father furrowed his brow, contemplating the unusual request, while the aroma of dinner simmered in the background. "Are you sure, Carlo? This isn't just a school trip. It's a journey, and it might change how you see things," he replied thoughtfully. But Carlo was unwavering. "I feel it's important. I need to understand the meaning of this miracle better. I want to capture it, take pictures, talk to people, share their stories. Please." Carlo's enthusiasm was contagious, and he could sense his parents beginning to waver, their curiosity piqued. With a deep breath, his father nodded slowly. "All right, let's think about it. We can research and see if it's feasible." Joy erupted within Carlo, his heart swelling as he envisioned the pilgrimage, a family adventure steeped in faith. They gathered around the kitchen table, discussing their potential travels to Alatri, the significance of the miracle, and what this experience might teach them. As plans took shape over the meal, shared among laughter and questions, Carlo felt a sense of purpose enveloping him. With every detail, he envisioned not just the physical journey to Alatri, but the expansive voyage into the depths of faith. He saw himself capturing the miracle through photography, weaving science and spirituality through his lens, revealing unseen beauty bathed in divine light. Night after night, as his family continued their preparations, Carlo's excitement bubbled beneath the surface. He imagined the stained altar of San Pietro, each detail calling to him like a siren song. The anticipation was intoxicating, and each passing moment felt like a step closer to a profound awakening. In the quiet moments of dusk, before sleep wrapped him in its embrace, Carlo pondered the miracles he might encounter. What stories awaited him? What wisdom could he unearth from the hearts of those who had witnessed the miracle? The questions raced through his mind, igniting the spark of curiosity into flames of passion. The concept of Alatri transformed in his imagination from merely a destination into a pivotal point in his journey of discovery and faith. Clutching his camera tightly as he drifted to sleep, Carlo felt a deep-seated assurance that this pilgrimage would illuminate his path. He knew that this was only the beginning. The journey of faith and understanding awaited him, and soon he would step into a world where miracles were not confined to ancient texts, but alive and dynamic, ready to unfold before his eager eyes. What awaited him in Alatri? Only time would reveal the answers he sought so fervently. The morning sunshine spilled into Carlo's room like a golden promise, igniting his heart with uncontainable excitement. Today was the day. He could hardly believe it as he jumped out of bed, adrenaline surging through him. The long-awaited pilgrimage to Alatri had finally arrived. He quickly dressed, his anticipation building with every second that passed, and rushed down the stairs, nearly slipping on the last step in his eagerness. In the kitchen, the fragrant scent of fresh pastries and coffee filled the air, accompanied by the cheerful chatter of his parents. His mother had prepared a hearty breakfast, and his father was busy organizing the last bits of their luggage. "Good morning, sleepyhead," his mother called out, her smile radiant as she set a plate before him. "Are you ready for our adventure?" "Yes, I can't wait to see the altar and hear the stories," Carlo replied, shoveling in bites of food with the same energetic enthusiasm that defined his spirit. The eagerness bubbled within him, making every bite taste like more than just a meal. It felt like the fuel for the journey ahead. His father took a seat beside him, looking over the detailed map he had meticulously laid out. "We'll be driving through some beautiful scenery along the way. Just think about the stories and moments we're going to experience together, Carlo." After breakfast, they packed up the last of their essentials, snacks, a first aid kit, and of course Carlo's camera, an extension of his own being. As they slid into the car, Carlo's heart raced with every expectation of discovery that lay ahead. Once the engine roared to life, he let out a small cheer, echoing the collective joy of the family. The drive to Alatri felt like an adventure in itself, a winding path through the lush Italian countryside. Fields of sunflowers swayed in the breeze, while the distant mountains framed the horizon like a dreamscape. Carlo pressed his face against the window, soaking in the beauty and imagining every story behind the vibrant landscapes passing them by. During the drive, Carlo entertained his parents with tales of miracles he had read about, flowing words tumbling from his mouth in a mix of awe and excitement. "Did you know that some believe miracles are signs of God's love? I've read about countless stories where people felt renewed hope after witnessing something extraordinary." His mother nodded, clearly engaged in his passionate storytelling, while his father added, "That's true, Carlo. Miracles often remind us of the divine connection we share. It's a bridge between the human and the sacred." As they approached the outskirts of Alatri, Carlo's heartbeat quickened. The ancient city unfolded before him, revealing its stone structures and historic charm. The car navigated through narrow streets, surrounded by quaint shops and local artisans, each corner whispering stories of the past. With every turn, Carlo felt closer to the miraculous wonders he had yearned to witness. Finally, they reached their destination, the magnificent church of San Pietro, an imposing edifice that stood proudly against the backdrop of the sky. Carlo's breath caught in his throat. It was a sight he had longed to see, and here it was in all its glory. Once parked, the family made their way through the town square, bustling with life. The sounds of chatter, laughter, and children playing filled the air, creating an atmosphere of warmth and welcome. Carlo felt a surge of connection to those around him, knowing that they all shared a common thread woven through faith and hope. As they approached the church, Carlo's excitement turned into a palpable energy that coursed through him. The doors loomed ahead, and he could feel the weight of tradition and love behind them. With a deep breath, they stepped inside, and Carlo immediately felt enveloped in a serene tranquility. The cool air greeted them as they entered, and his eyes adjusted to the stunning interior. Sunlight filtered through stained glass windows, casting vibrant hues across the stone walls and illuminating the altar with divine light. Carlo's heart swelled at the vision before him, the altar that had witnessed the miracle he hoped to understand. "Wow," he breathed, awestruck as he raised his camera to capture the moment. Each click chronicled his fascination. The flickering candles, the intricate decorations, and the space itself, a holy sanctuary filled with whispers of devotion. As Carlo took step after step toward the altar, he sensed the collective prayers of those who had come before him. Each prayer seemed to echo in his heart, as if inviting him into a deeper communion with the divine. He recalled the stories of faith he had heard, now envisioning them coming to life in this sacred space. "Let's look for some locals to talk to about their experiences," his mother suggested, breaking through his reverie. Her words stirred Carlo from his contemplation. He turned, his face lighting up with determination. "Yes, I want to hear all the stories. They might have insights that we can't find in books." As they wandered deeper into the church, they spotted a few older parishioners sitting quietly by the confessionals. Their voices floated through the air, sharing memories of faith and perseverance. This was it, the stories Carlo had dreamed of capturing, connecting the rich history of Alatri to the present. Walking toward them, Carlo felt the urge to learn and embrace the wisdom this moment offered. "Excuse me," he started, a mix of excitement and shyness coloring his cheeks. "I'm Carlo, and I'm here to learn more about the miracle of Alatri. Would you share your experiences with me?" The eyes of the elder parishioners sparkled as one of them nodded, their face breaking into a warm smile. "Oh, my dear boy, we'd love to share. This place holds so many tales." As they began to recount their stories, Carlo listened intently, his heart swelling with each anecdote. He soaked in their words like a thirsty sponge, realizing that every testimony tied into a greater narrative of faith and love. They recounted how the miracle had transformed their lives, how it had brought them together in times of sorrow, and how witnessing the miraculous had reignited their hope. The church, they explained, became a sanctuary, a refuge where they experienced kith and kinship bonded by shared belief. Every moment in the church felt sacred, each story adding to the rich tapestry of faith that enveloped Carlo and his family. He snapped photographs not just to document the experience, but to capture emotions, the twinkle of joy in the storyteller's eyes, the sincerity of their laughter, and the deep warmth of connection that filled the sacred space. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue across the altar, Carlo realized that this pilgrimage was more than he had ever anticipated. Each conversation, each story shared, was building a foundation upon which he would stand, inspired to explore faith in all its forms through the lens of his camera. The miracle of Alatri was not merely a destination, but a catalyst, sparking an adventure that would reach far beyond the confines of a single trip. In that moment, as laughter and faith collided in beautiful harmony, Carlo understood he was part of a much larger narrative, one that would guide him through his own life, inviting him to embrace the miraculous in his pursuit of truth and understanding. As the conversations deepened, the sun dipped lower in the sky, transforming the light within the church into a warm embrace. Carlo leaned in closer, soaking in every word from the elderly parishioners whose faces glowed with the fire of faith and experience. The stories of the Eucharistic miracle flowed like a sacred river, winding through the present and into the past, each turn revealing new depths of understanding that resonated with the essence of belief. "Just last year," began one of the women, her voice rich with emotion, "I lost my husband. It was a hard time, one where I felt completely alone. But during a visit to this church, I kept feeling drawn to the altar. I remember standing there, lost in my grief, when something incredible happened. I felt a warmth wash over me, as if my husband's spirit surrounded me. It was in that moment that I began to believe in the miracles that can happen even in our darkest hours." Carlo absorbed her words, feeling the strength of her faith and the profound meaning behind her testimony. He could see the power of her experience reflected in her eyes, the memories rekindling her spirit with every recounting. It was moments like these that brought home the significance of what had occurred in Alatri. Another parishioner, an older gentleman with a wise face etched by time, chimed in. "I was once a doubter," he said, his voice steady. "But witnessing the miracle here changed everything. It was a reminder that faith isn't always about seeing, it's about believing." When the host transformed before our eyes, I felt my heart shift. I realized that miracles require open eyes, but most importantly, an open heart. Carlo felt a shiver of inspiration run down his spine. This was the essence of faith, a journey marked by doubt, hope, belief, and the undeniable power of the divine working through humanity. His camera clicked at intervals, capturing not just images, but the sacred emotions of those gathered around him. "Can I take a photo with you all?" he asked, hesitating just for a moment. The group smiled broadly, gathering around him, and he felt an overwhelming warmth as they huddled together. Carlo pressed the button, freezing the bond in time, a cherished memory to accompany the stories he would carry home. The older gentleman noticed Carlos's enthusiasm and nodded. "You have a gift, my boy. You're not just documenting moments, you're sharing truths. Continue to seek out these stories. They are the soul of our faith." With renewed vigor, Carlo moved through the church, seeking out more stories and understanding. He found himself drawn to the altar, where he could feel the weight of history and the palpable reverence that hung in the air. The altar looked magnificent under the glow of candlelight, each flicker representing prayers whispered through generations. He raised his camera, capturing the intricate details, a gilded cross, the ornate carvings, and the unmistakable traces of faith that had lingered around the sacred space. It felt as if he were weaving a tapestry of light and shadow, story and faith, through his lens. With each click he felt connected to something greater, as if the divine was guiding his hand, encouraging him to discover and share the multiple layers of spirituality that surrounded him. As Carlo stood silently in front of the altar, he remembered the words of the parishioners and understood that the miracle was not simply a historical event, but a living testament to the power of belief and community. He felt the urge to pray, to express gratitude for the stories shared, for this moment and for the revelations unfolding before him. He closed his eyes, whispered a prayer from the depths of his heart, and felt a warmth wash over him, a sense of peace that reaffirmed his purpose. "Let's go to the side chapel," his mother beckoned just then, breaking Carlo's reverie. "I think there's something special there." Curiosity piqued. Carlo followed as they entered the intimate space, where the air felt sacred. Inside, the soft light illuminated the wooden pews, and Carlo turned to see a small altar dedicated to the stories of past miracles. Handwritten notes and testimonies filled the walls like a vibrant quilt of faith, each story contributing to the larger narrative of what the miracle meant to all those who had visited. People come here not only to witness, but to share their experiences, their miracles, his mother shared, reflecting on the notes. It has a profound effect. It connects us through our struggles and triumphs. Carlo felt a societal connection bloom within him, realizing that he was just one thread in a vast tapestry. Each story mattered, each moment lived, and he felt compelled to contribute. "We should leave our own story," he suggested, excitement dancing in his voice. "Absolutely, what a beautiful idea. Why don't you write something down?" his father encouraged, his pride evident in his gaze. Carlo pulled out a small notebook he had tucked into his pocket, the pages still untouched and waiting for inspiration. Sitting on a pew, he began to write, pouring his heart onto the page. He recounted the stories he had heard, the warmth of the community, and the miraculous feeling that filled the church. As he wrote, Carlo firmly grasped the truth that had begun to unfold during his pilgrimage. Faith was not simply a belief system. It was a living thread that united people, marking the intersections of their lives in profound ways. Each miracle told a part of the collective story, a testament that God walked among them, urging them to love, believe, and connect. Once he finished, Carlo shared his words with his family, their faces lighting up as they listened. "This is beautiful," his mother said, her voice thick with emotion. "You have a talent for capturing the heart of the matter, Carlo." With a sense of fulfillment, Carlo approached the altar of the side chapel and placed his note among the stories already pinned there, feeling that in doing so he was honoring the spirit of Alatri and committing himself to a life of faith and exploration. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow through the windows, and as the light bathed the chapel in hues of gold and romance, Carlo's heart soared with gratitude. This pilgrimage had opened his eyes to the miracle not only in Alatri, but in the lives of the people who had gathered there. As evening descended, Carlo, along with his family, stepped back outside into the soft twilight. This time, shared among stories, faith, and understanding, sparkled in his heart like stars emerging in the night sky. "Where to next?" his father asked, glancing around the charming square filled with the sounds of bellies laugh softly and locals enjoying conversation. "I want to explore more," Carlo replied eagerly. "I want to hear more stories and capture the heart of Alatri tonight." And with that, the family wandered further into the vibrant streets of the town, experiencing a new chapter in the living story of Alatri. Carlo felt the anticipation swell within him, knowing that each interaction, each smile, and every miracle witnessed would guide him deeper into the adventure that lay before. The invitation of the evening air urged Carlo onward as they ventured further into the winding streets of Alatri, illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns swinging gently in the breeze. The town seemed to come alive, every corner revealing secrets and stories wrapped in the warm embrace of twilight. Carlo noticed the mix of ancient architecture and vibrant life surrounding him, and he felt as though the very walls resonated with the pulse of history and community. "Look at that fountain!" Carlo exclaimed, pointing to a beautiful stone fountain adorned with intricate carvings and crowned with water that danced gracefully in the dimming light. It was surrounded by the soothing murmur of laughter and chatter where families gathered, their presence enhancing the atmosphere of camaraderie. Carlo felt a magnetic pull toward it. "Let's take a closer look," his mother suggested, leading the way. As they approached the fountain, Carlo observed children dipping their hands into the cool water while parents hovered nearby, delighted smiles lighting their faces. The vibrant scene felt almost surreal, encapsulating a moment of pure joy. Carlo took a step back, raising his camera to capture the spontaneity of the moment. Every laugh, splash, and joyful shout unfolded like a story waiting to be immortalized. The sweet sound of giggles filled the air, blending harmoniously with the soothing splashes of water, a true miracle of community. After snapping a few pictures, Carlo turned to see a group of older people chatting animatedly by the fountain. Curiosity bubbled within him. "I want to find out what their stories are," he told his family, and they encouraged him to go ahead. "Excuse me?" Carlo approached, feeling both eager and slightly nervous. "I'm Carlo, and I'm capturing stories of Alatri. Can you tell me about your experiences here?" An older man turned to him, his eyes lighting up. "Ah, Alatri! Where to begin? This is where I grew up, and so many beautiful memories are woven into the stone of this town." "Like what?" Carlo prompted, settling onto the edge of the fountain, feeling the cool mist on his face. The old man chuckled heartily. "Like every summer, we would gather around this very fountain to celebrate the feast of San Pietro. The air would be thick with the scent of freshly baked bread, and the sound of laughter would echo through the streets. Each year would bring in something different, a new story, a new miracle to share." "What kinds of miracles?" Carlo asked, leaning in closer. The man's expression turned solemn for a moment. "Miracles of love, my boy. People would come together, putting aside their differences, sharing food, sharing joy. In moments like those, you could feel the essence of divinity washing over us." Carlo squeezed the shutter of his camera, capturing the memory in his heart. This was the miracle he sought, the beauty of connectedness, the ordained moments when people came together through shared experiences, joy and love. It resonated deeply within him. As they shared more stories, Carlo felt time slip away. He realized how interconnected each narrative was, each person imbuing their lives into the fabric of Alatri's history, tying their experiences to the miracles they celebrated. After spending some time with the group, Carlo felt a tug on his heart to keep exploring. "Thank you for sharing your stories. They mean a lot," he said, beaming with gratitude. "You're welcome, young man. Remember, you've got the gift to capture what many overlook. Cherish it," the man replied. Rejoining his family, Carlo shared snippets of what he had learned. "Did you know the fountain is a symbol of connection and shared history?" he asked, their eyes widening. "It's more than just a place. It's a memory." "Sounds like we should make a wish at the fountain too," his father remarked playfully, prompting them to take turns tossing coins into the sparkling water, each making a wish steeped in hopes for the future. With the excitement still buzzing within him, Carlo led his family through a series of narrow, cobblestone paths that spilled into an expansive piazza where festivities were in full swing. The town square was overflowing with life, vibrant stalls showcasing local artisans, musicians filling the air with cheerful melodies, and the mouth-watering aroma of delicious local dishes wafting from nearby food stalls. "Let's taste some local food," Carlo exclaimed, eyeing a stall with trays piled high with traditional delicacies. Steamed arancini, polished meatballs, and slices of crispy bread topped with fresh tomatoes beckoned. Sampling various treats, Carlo delighted in discussing how the flavors reflected local traditions. "Each dish tells a history, just like every person we've met," he mused, savoring each bite. With their appetites satisfied, they wandered deeper into the festivities. Colorful banners hung overhead, and fairy lights sparkled like stars in the twilight, casting a magical glow that made the night feel timeless. Families clapped along to the lively folk music reverberating through the square. Friends danced joyfully, and children spun around in circles, laughter chasing away any worries. As Carlo captured everything on his camera, from dazzling smiles to lively dances, he felt a wave of gratitude swell within him. This was the heart of Alatri, the ordinary and the extraordinary intertwined, creating a dynamic portrait of community and faith. After a while, his parents gathered him in for a brief huddle. "What about asking a local for their miracle story?" his mother suggested, referring to the continued theme that had captivated Carlo throughout their stay. "I'd love that," he replied, suddenly inspired. Just as he was about to step away, a gentle voice beside him caught his attention. "Are you looking for stories?" a warm woman in her 70s asked, her eyes sparkling with kindness. "Yes, we'd love to hear yours," Carlo replied eagerly, feeling the excitement rush back in. His parents stepped aside, giving the woman space to share her thoughts. She smiled, her voice soothing yet filled with life. "Well, my dear, I've been here all my life. One of my favorite memories was of my mother during the war. She would send me here to gather bread for our family. Despite the chaos around us, she taught me that blessings can come even in dire situations. Until today, I often return to this very piazza, full of hope." Carlo listened, captivated not only by her words, but by her strength that echoed through the ages. Her gentle stories painted pictures of resilience, and he could feel the weight of history resting on her shoulders, a bridge to the miracles that were still unfolding around them. "This town has seen so much," she continued. "But we rebuild, rejoice, and share. That's where real miracles emerge, through love and unity." Tears pricked at the corners of Carlo's eyes, moved by the depth of her story. "Thank you for trusting me with that," he said, lifting his camera. "Can I take your portrait?" "Of course. Capturing memories is a miracle in itself," she said, settling into a soft smile. As Carlo clicked the shutter, he felt the profound truth resonating within him. The miracles stitched together in the fabric of Alatri, revealing themselves in the love, laughter, and stories narrated by bold souls. Each image he took was not just a snapshot, but a testament to the living legacy of faith and unity that defined the town. The evening began to wind down, and Carlo felt the weight of the day settling into a peaceful calm. His heart brimmed with stories, experiences, and deep connections he had never expected to cultivate. As they slowly made their way back to the hotel, wrapping their arms around each other, Carlo glanced back at the lively piazza, knowing that Alatri had gifted him something monumental, an understanding of the invisible threads that connected humanity and the miraculous moments that unfolded when they took the time to connect. "I can't wait to share everything we've experienced," Carlo said, as they walked hand in hand under the twinkling stars. "Neither can we," his father replied warmly. "It sounds like this adventure has been more than just about the sights. It's about the hearts we've touched and the stories we've collected." As they crossed the threshold into their hotel, Carlo felt a quiet determination settle deep in his spirit. Tomorrow awaited with new adventures, more stories to uncover, and deeper connections to foster. With every encounter, he would continue to unravel the threads of miracles woven within every human experience, documenting the shared journey. This was just the beginning, and he was ready to embrace it all. The following day dawned with a radiant sunrise painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange and pink. Carlo woke up with a rush of excitement coursing through him. Today was another opportunity to delve even deeper into the heart of Alatri. A sense of purpose enveloped him as he hurried through his morning routine, determined to uncover more of the town's riches and stories. At breakfast, Carlo shared his hopes for the day, his enthusiasm infectious. "I want to meet more people and hear their stories. There has to be so much more to learn." His parents exchanged proud glances, pleased to see their son passionate about this journey. "Let's go to the town square again," his mother suggested. "We can visit the artisans and see who else is around." With that, they set out, the morning air fresh and invigorating. The cobblestone streets felt familiar beneath Carlo's feet, yet each step fueled his eagerness to discover something new. As they reached the bustling heart of Alatri, the market was already alive with activity, the sounds of vendors calling out to passers-by, the chatter of locals, and the laughter of children playing. Carlo's eyes scanned the market, eager to reunite with friendly faces from the previous days. He spotted the potter first, their conversation from yesterday echoing in his mind. "Let's go talk to him," he said, pulling his parents toward the stall. As they approached, the potter looked up and grinned, recognizing Carlo instantly. "Good morning, young artist. Back for more?" "Yes. I wanted to hear more about your craft," Carlo replied, feeling a sense of kinship with the man who had shared his knowledge so openly before. The potter wiped his hands on his apron and gestured to the beautifully shaped pots lining the table. "Each piece speaks of patience, just as each person has a story to tell. You'll find that crafting is much like living. It involves a process of trial and error, with beauty emerging through dedication." Carlo nodded eagerly, listening intently as the potter elaborated on his techniques and the inspiration he drew from the world around him. He snapped photos of the vibrant pottery, the sunlight catching the glaze and illuminating the colors. "Would you like to try your hand at it?" the potter asked, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Carlo's heart skipped a beat. "Can I?" "Absolutely! Here, I'll show you the basics," the potter said, guiding Carlo to a nearby wheel. Placing Carlo's hands on the clay, the potter instructed him on how to center it properly. With each spin, Carlo felt the exhilaration of creation pulse through him, the clay yielding to his touch. "The magic happens when you let yourself go," the potter encouraged, guiding Carlo's movements. "Feel the clay and understand its potential." And as Carlo molded the clay, something deep within him shifted. He instinctively connected with the process, recognizing that this was similar to capturing stories. Both required sensitivity and a willingness to experiment. The joy of creation melded with the thrill of discovery, and in that moment he felt the spirit of Alatri swirling around him. After a while, he shaped a small bowl and beamed with pride when the potter praised his effort. With a few snaps of his camera to capture this extraordinary moment, Carlo knew he was capturing not just images, but also the emotions, struggles and triumphs encapsulated in each interaction. "Thank you for this!" he exclaimed, gratitude overflowing. "Just remember, every creation tells a story." "Keep telling yours," the potter replied, nudging Carlo gently to embrace the journey ahead. As Carlo's family continued to explore the rest of the market, they found themselves drawn toward a stall filled with traditional fabrics. A woman who seemed to embody the spirit of Alatri stood proudly beside her wares, each piece colorful and intricate. "What do you think?" she asked, as they examined the beautiful textiles hanging on display, the patterns telling their own unique stories. "Your work is stunning! What inspired you?" Carlo inquired, intrigued. "Oh dear, every fabric woven here holds a part of my journey," she said, picking up a vibrant scarf. "Each thread narrates tales of our ancestors, transforming the past into something living and breathing. It connects us to our culture, to our identity." Carlo listened closely, captivated by her depth of passion. After she shared a story of her family's heritage and how the community's history tied into her craft, he snapped her portrait surrounded by her creations, capturing her spirit and the story embodied within each piece of fabric, bearing her craftsmanship. When Carlo moved on, he felt as if he were floating. He was not merely documenting, he was part of an intricate web of connections and narratives that wove through Alatri, enriching his understanding of miracles, history, and humanity. Before long, Carlo noticed an elderly man sitting under a tree, sketching in a pad. His presence exuded wisdom, and curiosity urged Carlo to approach him. "What are you drawing?" he asked, admiring the way the man moved his pen with elegance and ease. The man looked up and smiled gently. "I'm trying to capture the essence of this town, the architecture, the people, the stories hidden in plain sight. It's a lifelong pursuit." "Can I see?" Carlo asked, peering over the man's shoulder. The sketches were filled with intricate details, capturing Alatri's spirit on the page. "You have an eye for beauty, young man," the artist remarked. "It's important to share what you see. Every person, every building has its own melody. When I draw, I listen closely." Inspired, Carlo reached for his camera, documenting the artist's craft while listening to the stories that flowed from him like ink onto paper. Each story, told by the artist, added depth to Carlo's burgeoning understanding of how art transcended time and culture, the interconnectedness of all life. The artist finished one final sketch and looked at Carlo with a knowing smile. "Create your own story. Share the beauty you discover just as I do. The world deserves to see through your eyes." With both a snapshot and a mental picture firmly ingrained in his heart, Carlo took a moment to appreciate the artist's work and wisdom. He felt a connection to the man. Their shared pursuit of capturing beauty and truth intertwined their destinies in an unspoken bond. As the day wore on, more adventures awaited, with each encounter drawing Carlo deeper into the heart of Alatri. As he walked alongside his parents, they shared their perspectives on the day's journey. "I've learned so much about art, history, and the stories of the people who call this place home," Carlo said, excitement buzzing through him. "I want to keep gathering these moments." His parents smiled, proud of the profound observations their son made as he continued to embrace every experience. "You're not just exploring a town, you're exploring yourself," his father added. As they meandered through the narrow streets, Carlo felt like he was walking through a living storybook, every chapter filled with new insights and relationships that left him both grounded and elevated. Even as twilight descended, he knew there were still miracles to discover. As they prepared to return to their hotel for the night, Carlo glanced back at the market, a sense of gratitude washing over him. With every moment he spent in Alatri, he grew closer to his purpose, to share these beautiful threads of connection with others, binding humanity together through faith, love, and art. Tomorrow he would delve even deeper. There would be more stories, more hearts to touch, and more miracles woven into the fabric of Alatri, each one waiting for him to uncover their significance. Carlo felt ready to embrace whatever adventures tomorrow might hold, and he couldn't wait for the journey to continue. The next morning, Carlo awoke to the gentle sound of birds chirping outside his window. The sun peeked through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the room. He stretched and sat up, filled with excitement for the adventures that awaited him. Today felt different. It felt like the culmination of all the moments he had experienced so far. After a quick breakfast, Carlo gathered his things, determination etched on his face. He was eager to dive deeper into the heart of Alatri and discover more stories that could inspire not just himself, but others too. "What are we doing today?" he asked his parents as they prepared to head out. "How about we explore the abandoned castle ruins nearby?" his father suggested. "It's a part of Alatri's rich history, and we can learn about the legends that surround it." "Yes, that sounds amazing!" Carlo exclaimed, his enthusiasm ever growing. As they made their way to the castle, Carlo felt the thrill of anticipation building. The winding path led them through lush greenery, and the air was crisp with the scent of wildflowers. Each step brought them closer to history, and Carlo imagined the knights and battles that had taken place within the walls of the castle he was about to visit. Upon arriving at the castle, the sight was majestic, even in its dilapidated state. Stone walls stood tall, a testament to the might and endurance of the past. Carlo could almost hear the whispers of history echoing through time. "This is incredible," he said, his excitement flooding him. "We'll have to be careful as we explore," his mother warned, her eyes sparkling with adventure. "Ruins can be tricky, but they also hold great beauty." Stepping inside, they were greeted by the cool shade of ancient stones and a sense of awe that filled the air. Carlo's camera clicked as he captured the stunning architecture, each angle telling stories of long-gone eras. He peered through crumbling arches and snapped photos of the remnants of grand halls, wondering what tales the walls could share. In a quiet corner, Carlo found a narrow staircase leading up to what appeared to be a watchtower. Cautiously, he ascended, his heart racing with anticipation. When he reached the top, he was met with a breathtaking view of Alatri sprawled below, the rooftops bathed in sunlight, the markets bustling with life. It felt like he was witnessing the harmony of the past and present coalesce. Taking a deep breath, he lifted the camera and captured the landscape. The vastness resonated within him, igniting a passion to preserve these moments of beauty. It was easy to see how the town had been shaped by its history, and Carlo wanted to ensure that future generations understood and appreciated the miracles that were woven throughout their stories. Feeling inspired, Carlo climbed back down to join his parents. "Can you believe how incredible this place is?" he exclaimed. "It's like every step we take reveals a new story waiting to be told." As they continued exploring, they stumbled upon a mural etched into the stone, faded yet still vibrant with history. It depicted the scene of a great battle fought for Alatri long ago. Rediscovering such a portrayal of courage and resilience filled Carlo with wonder. He felt a connection to the people who had fought and loved within these walls. "This must be a reminder of the town's strength in unity," his father remarked, studying the mural alongside Carlo. "Just as we are united in our pursuit of stories today." Carlo nodded, taking in his father's words. He realized that by honoring the past, they were ensuring that the legacy continued. He made a mental note to record this mural in his notebook later, solidifying the spirit of unity as part of Alatri's ongoing tale. Their exploration continued until hunger settled in, prompting them to seek out a local cafe for a well-deserved meal. As they entered, the warmth from the kitchen enveloped them, accompanied by the delicious scent of fresh bread and rich tomato sauce. The place was bustling with locals, sharing stories and laughter, making it a perfect spot to soak in the community spirit. Seated at a table near the window, Carlo looked around, absorbing the atmosphere. Each person engaged in conversation had their own story, and he longed to connect with them. "After we eat, can I go and talk to someone?" he asked his parents. His interest piqued. "Of course, this is the perfect place to gather more stories," his mother encouraged. As Carlo enjoyed a hearty meal of pasta and fresh bread, he felt content, fueled by both food and inspiration. Once they finished, he ventured over to an elderly man sitting alone at a nearby table, his wrinkled hands wrapped around a steaming cup of coffee. "Excuse me, sir," Carlo began, his heart pounding slightly. "I'm gathering stories about Alatri. Would you like to share yours?" The man looked up, his eyes twinkling with warmth and wisdom. "Ah, young man, stories are what keep us alive. I would be honored to share." And share he did, weaving tales of his childhood spent playing with friends in the very streets Carlo had walked. He spoke of the laughter and community that had sustained them through challenging times, recounting how the spirit of Alatri thrived through love and camaraderie. "Every person here carries a piece of history," the man said, his voice steady and gentle. "It's our responsibility to pass it on, much like you are doing now." Carlo listened intently, captivated by the man's sincerity. He snapped a quick photo to immortalize the moment and capture the spirit of storytelling. Sharing a smile of gratitude, he asked, "Can I include your story in my collection?" "Absolutely. Just remember, stories are meant to be shared," the man replied, his face glowing with wisdom. As Carlo returned to his family, he felt that this was what Alatri was truly about, the sharing of stories and connections that transcend time. Each conversation, each encounter further solidified his growing understanding of miracles in everyday life. The day passed quickly amid laughter, new discoveries, and heartwarming stories. And as dusk settled upon Alatri, Carlo found himself filled with a sense of belonging. He had not only gathered stories from the past, but had also sown the seeds of his own narrative, a journey of faith, love, and the miraculous threads that connect humanity. As they prepared to return to their hotel later that evening, Carlo marveled at how much he had changed throughout this pilgrimage. He felt a sense of purpose guiding him, and he knew that he had discovered something extraordinary, not just about Alatri, but about himself, about the importance of connection and the miracles woven into the tapestry of humanity. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. To hear the next story, click the box on the left. Thanks for watching.